so far?
The podcast?
Yeah, like doing this.
It feels like it's therapy for us.
Yeah. It's very fun.
Good.
It's one of the best things I've ever done.
We've taken a break on recording though. Like
A little bit.
we still have a backlog of. I mean, I think we've only released 9 episodes, and I think we have like 25 done.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's a good backlog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of it is just it's hard to remember to publish them, or we're not. It was like, let's do it every week, and then we'll be like, shit, it's been 2 weeks and they haven't done it.
We like both are so slammed,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
fun. We've had some characters on. Scott Paul was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Scott's
showed up
awesome.
in like a full like fur robe.
Oh, I would, yes. Did he
And-
bring his fur hat too?
and no,
I wish he would have though.
But the shortest shorts you've ever seen in your life.
Good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Camp Convoy this year with them, so.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It
How
was really fun.
with him and Trent, right?
Uh-huh.
And his wife was that right? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Natalie?
Oh, yeah.
They had
Natalie,
like
she's
Natalie. They had
great.
like a separate women's part. Okay.
It was
I don't
not
know.
segregated, no.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Scott's a little bit more.
He's a little more. Well, no, I just remember somebody going down.
He
there
has some
and I
old school parts of him, but he's past
He's
the
think- But
pretty
then
segregation.
progressive.
but then new school.
He's
No, I meant-
progressive.
Yeah, he's pretty progressive.
I just meant somebody went down there. Maybe there wasn't like a separate. I don't know. I just remember somebody went down there. Megan, and anyway, they went off with Natalie at some point, and
I
It's just
mostly took naps. I don't
oh
know.
yeah,
Did you? Oh,
Kidding.
Hey,
No,
as a
I
mom?
went to workshops. It was good. I know.
as a mom to be able to like get away and take guilt-free naps.
Yes.
Good for
it
you.
Was, it was
Yeah.
quite nice. I did have a little bit of a breakdown because it was the first time I was away from both my babies and overnight. And
That's
so,
hard.
like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
second night, I was like, this is not okay. Like, I just was a mess.
How old are they?
My oldest is 2 and my youngest is 11 months. So
nice.
they are 14 months apart.
right
Oh,
on.
that's fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a handful though.
Yeah, I mean, that's a handful I don't have to take care of. My husband's the stay-at-home dad, so
Oh, sweet.
yeah.
Oh, winner,
I know,
dude.
dude. Seriously,
Like,
Everyone's
I-
like, look, honey,
let's go.
it's been a minute. You want to switch? And she's like, it's not easy. And I'm like, I'm not saying it's easy. It's just
not
different.
easy. Yeah.
Right,
It's just different.
Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No,
that's
we
cool.
love John. He's a super dad, so
yeah, that's.
it's fantastic.
And does he love it?
Yeah, most of the time I think so. So yeah. He so I was like pretty against kids when we were kind of first married. I got married at 19. I was a child bride,
Okay.
like most people in Utah, and I was like pretty strict on like not having kids until we were both done with school. And it took us both it took me like 5 years. It took him like 6 to finish school. So it's kind of a long time. And I was like, the system's telling me to have kids. I don't want to have kids because I'm being told I have to be a mom. I have to fit into this box. And I was just so turned off by it. And he was like, well, this is kind of important to me. This is like kind of a make or break deal for me. So we talked about it. We hashed it out quite a bit. And then I got off birth control and got pregnant like the first month. So I was like, I guess we're doing this. I guess
Well,
it's
now
just
that's the
happening.
sign.
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
So that's the sign. But then we had our first. It was fantastic. She's a fantastic, fantastic kid. On birth control, still got pregnant. So that's even more of a sign that I'm just
Yeah.
built to be a mother, apparently. So
I mean, now I have
very
old,
hospitable.
I have old kids. I'm past the stage of having kids for sure, but I felt like back in the day, if my wife and I washed our underwear together, boom,
It was
baby.
like if he looks
was
at me
like-
wrong, it's
I didn't even
just
touch
all
her.
of a sudden, yeah, it just happened. So
Yeah.
yeah, but just 2 for now.
And 2
so.
little girls or one of each?
One of each. So
Oh, that's
Daisy
fun.
is the oldest, and then Barrett is my boy. We just call him Bear. So
Oh, Daisy and
Nice.
Bear. That's
yeah. Dude,
those
he's
are
huge.
good
Can I show
names.
you? He's gigantic.
Please do.
I took a picture yesterday, and I'm like, this kid. I don't know where he came from. My husband is 6'6", so mind you, he's a big
Oh,
guy.
well, it sounds
Yeah.
like we know where he
But-
came from.
That's
then.
right.
Yes, that's true.
called genetics.
It is called genetics, but look at me. I'm like a short person. Like, look how big he is.
Oh,
He's 11 months
cutie
old?
pie. Oh
He's
my
just
gosh,
huge.
dude.
Like, look at
Oh my
those
gosh.
biceps. Yeah, he's a fat kid, but we love him.
Yeah.
No, he's a man.
He's
He's
tough.
a man. He's a bear.
He's a bear.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We were thinking about the name Theo, and I saw him, and I was like, "That's too pretty of a name. Like, he just needs like
Wah,
a
wah,
manly
wah.
name."
That's my son's name.
I love the name. Oh, I love the name.
I
He's
was gonna
probably
say,
very pretty.
He's
but-
he's a pretty boy for sure.
I thought it was going to like Theo Von. Like
Oh,
you didn't
yeah,
want. You didn't. Want,
no.
No.
The name's from Pink Floyd, so
That's fair.
We went
Yeah,
that
we
route.
love the name Theo. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 8 now, so he's
he's manned up a bit.
he's manned
probably.
up a little bit. Yeah.
No, I was like, he just needs a man name though. He just needs to be a bear.
Barrett and Bear. That's
Bear.
That's cool.
That's a great nickname.
Thank you.
Some
Yeah.
kids
Bear
don't always
Grylls.
get blessed with good nicknames.
Good nickname.
Right. Daisy, it's like just Days. Plus, that's kind of a dog name, but
Oh,
Yeah.
but I think Days is cute.
That's
yeah,
cool.
It's kind of fun.
My name was,
Little
I grew
woodland.
up Nick Stagge, and that unfortunately rhymes with two things. Two things. And so everyone in high school and junior high,
That's what you were.
yeah, I'm not saying it on the podcast.
Yeah, we
but
can't. Yeah, we
Oh,
can't.
no.
Because Stagge forgets to cut where we're talking.
Oh no.
I don't think she actually listens. I think she just like,
You guys don't have
Puts a filter on.
yeah.
nothing's cut. Nothing's cut.
No, we have had a couple of people like, hey, you really need to take this out.
you gotta cut. Like
Caleb
I just
Whittle.
watched. Yeah, Caleb. we had to take
Caleb
his-
like full on dropped like super sensitive information about this
Yeah.
movie that he's in. And then he was like, and
You're like, oh.
I was like, we got it. I put the,
Right.
actually, I forgot to put the note into Sigi. She sends me the episode. I launch it, and he's like, dude, it has to come down. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna mess me up. Yeah, you're gonna mess me up.
Yeah.
You're just getting
Yeah.
people fired.
A few other people have been like,
we were like,
chop
look at the
this out.
look at the rough draft. You totally forgot that one. We're gonna get canceled before this even gets one view, dude.
We're not important enough to get canceled. So
no.
That's what I thought. And then
You've ruffled some
you're
feathers.
surprised. Yeah, you end up as like a.
It's the one episode that gets 1 million views that
You end
has
up
like
on-
the
on
effed up
Reddit.
stuff in it. Yes.
We had,
whole
yeah.
thread.
When I interviewed Tyler Bender, we had talked some crap about a local e-commerce brand.
Oh no.
And it was cool. Like we were all good. And then I wait on my episodes probably a month or two.
Yeah.
And so we had talked some crap and just had fun. And it wasn't like really bad, but
Just
whatever.
poking fun.
Yeah. And then I go to release it and I send it to Tyler and she's like, hey, I'm actually doing a deal with that brand now. He's like,
Oh,
you can't have that in there. I was like, well, I'm not going to mess with my friend's money,
No.
so we'll take it.
No.
But, yeah, dude. I was like,
Yeah, that's
oh, it looks
awkward.
like you mended the relationship.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah,
Got what you
small
got,
lake
yeah.
city.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone. So
Yeah.
I heard
Gone
somebody.
pretty
Well,
nice.
but you, I, on that note, you're doing such a great job bringing the design community together.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Salt Lake Design
you.
Week, and then your new project.
Yeah, Design Mob. You
Yeah.
want to talk about that?
Yes,
Ooh,
I would
yeah.
love to because
Oh, thanks.
Can I just-
That's
can
what I
I just-
wanted to talk about. So
can I just be
it's
very real
fantastic.
with you?
Yes.
I have before the podcast, I was like, I'm not even a creative, and like I don't belong in this space.
You don't.
I don't.
Just kidding.
I know
I'm
I
just
don't.
kidding. I'm really. I'm
But
kidding.
so when Salt Lake Design Week came out, my team are designers. My team are talented, and they really wanted to be in it. And in 2022, they weren't, but they went to a bunch of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, Nick, you got to help us get in. And again, I just have this, I don't belong in that space. So I was nervous to reach out to you
Oh,
because I thought you were going to kind of
Yell at you?
snub me.
And be like,
just be like,
you're not a designer.
No.
Why are you?
you're
talking
not
to
super
me?
top secret and underbelly. So
Oh God, no.
so that's why I went to Jared and I was like, hey Jared,
We should do something.
we should do something together, because I was like, that's how I can back channel my way in. And I did that not knowing that Elliot had reached out trying to set up a panel, and then all of a sudden we had two things at Design Week.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what is happening?
And my team was like, dude, you did it. You got us in twice. But so I appreciated that you let us in, and
Oh,
it was,
It was
my
fantastic.
team loved it. We
Good.
had fun.
Good. I'm
The
glad.
snowboard contest thing
Oh,
was,
it's fantastic, wasn't it?
there were some great designs.
There were some really good designs. There's
There were
so
some
many
really bad
talented people.
designs.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of talented people in the valley, but there's a lot of people who are maybe newer. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna be a little forgiving to
Yeah.
them.
And some
but-
people who just don't have great taste, I think.
Yeah. Taste is big. Taste is really
It
big when
is.
it comes to design. So
It is.
and it's
So
hard to teach that.
before we talk about Design Mob,
Yeah.
how did you get involved in Salt Lake Design Week? And for people who don't know what it is, what is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the whole story then. So we're gonna back up. I'm
Okay,
also
I like
probably gonna.
this.
I talk with my hands, so I might just throw all this stuff. So I'm
the good news
very
is the mics won't
sorry.
pick it up.
The mics won't
So,
pick it up
yeah,
if
you'll
it's
be
on
good.
the ground. Just kidding. Okay, so we're gonna go back to I think it was 2019. I kind of revitalized a chapter of Ladies Wine and Design in Salt Lake City. So that's kind of how I got started in the community. Ladies Wine and Design is an organization for women in the design community. started by a lady named Jessica Walsh that is in New York, and she started this amazing agency with this guy named Stefan Sagmeister. They had an agency called Sagmeister and Walsh. He's now left. It's now just called And Walsh, which I think is freaking badass.
That is a great name.
It's so
That's
good.
cool, dude.
A
Yeah.
great name.
Because they had to rebrand when he left, and so it's like, well, let's just take him out.
Just
and so
take
it's
them in.
The fact that
And
she
Walsh.
left and in it though is
I know.
like,
It's fantastic.
that's taste.
Yes.
Yeah, that
yes.
is cool though.
Yeah.
Something you wouldn't think worked, but works.
Yeah, check out their work. They're amazing. They're phenomenal. But she started this ladies wine and design thing, and there's little chapters all over the world. And there was one in Salt Lake that didn't have very much activity. And so in 2019, I started it up again. And we had a good run, and then the pandemic kind of hit, and it was just a little like rocky trying to figure out the online scene. It never really was consistent, I guess. And so I just kind of played around. It helped me get exposure to creating events and just really figuring out like how to do that. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to kind of speak a couple times through that community. So
Yeah.
I'm a terrible public speaker. Like, would not recommend me being a public
You're
speaker
doing,
at all.
I've never.
This is different. This is fine.
Yeah.
If I'm
Yeah.
up on stage, I'm like, hello, hi. I just say hi like 10 times and then I sit back down. But it's the worst.
I'm not sure what to do with my hand.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
I
yes.
am
What is that?
Jordan.
Talladega Nights.
Hi.
That's right.
Talladega Nights.
You like
is so
put them down.
good.
Stop it.
Just keep going on.
Then 2 minutes later, it's like Jack Hawk 9,000. If you don't do Big Red, F you.
Wait, is Talladega Nights the one with like the Mountain Dew and the little kid?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
I haven't seen that. in
Baby
so
Jesus.
long.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so
Dude.
Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted
No,
that.
it's
But what
okay.
a
That
great
and Blades
show.
of Glory, though. Like, Blades of Glory is.
Glory.
That's an
movie.
underrated Will Ferrell movie.
I
Super
love
underrated.
it. I think it's great.
It's like and Nick Swartzen's hilarious in that movie.
I don't know.
He's
names.
the-
Who's that?
Oh yeah, he's the hardcore.
Stalker. It's like I want to peel your skin off and wear it to my birthday party. I love it.
Good. It's so
I'll
good.
say
Well,
that
somehow we've talked about Nick Swartzen a lot. Wheelchair
Jen
Cat
Mott.
is one of the greatest skits of all time.
Wait, what's Wheelchair Cat?
I'll send it to you.
Yes.
Please.
It is
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah.
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 ADHD moment, but go ahead.
Okay, great. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
okay.
podcast
I know
got
how that
nothing.
is. It's okay. I don't know.
So you're
where
on
I was.
stage sweating
you're on
bullets.
stage.
Oh yeah, don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
no, no. Yeah, no,
Okay.
no public speaking. But did Ladies Wine and Design? I don't know. Oh, do you guys know Dylan Winspear? You guys know
I
who he
can't
is.
say that
He's
either.
a pretty well-known designer in like the product realm down in Silicon Slopes.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
a wonderful human being, so kind. But he was helping with Product Hive, and he wanted to kind of take a step back from it and do his own thing. And so then he volunteered me to help with Product Hive, which is another community for just product designers and PMs. Just mostly in Utah County. There's some stuff they've done in Salt Lake, but then I helped with them. And was doing Ladies Wine and Design, so I was kind of doing these two things in tandem. We did a few events for Salt Lake Design Week, not last year, but the year before. I think I did 3 events. It was either 3 or 5, I can't remember. I did a bunch of events.
That makes me
for
feel
Design Week.
okay that I did too.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, 2 is fantastic.
2024, I'm going for 5.
Yeah. No, it's so good. But I did them through, think I did 3. I did one through Domo, one through Product Hive, one through Ladies Wine and Design. And they were like, do you want to do this next year? And I said yes, not really thinking that was like an actual commitment. I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then I got put on the board of AIGA in Salt Lake City. And
Wow.
now I'm Salt Lake Design Week. Now I'm doing it. So
My goodness.
yeah, it just kind of fell into my lap and I did it.
Well, you
So-
certainly showed an interest and an ability leading up to that.
Yeah.
But Salt Lake Design Week is no joke. I mean, it's
People seem to
Yeah.
think it's not. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty
Pretty
like
legit.
it's pretty fun. It's pretty easy to throw together. But
easy to throw. I mean, how many events did you do
Oh,
in 2023?
compared to like Tech Week, like not a lot. We did like 28, I think, maybe 30, but
I
not a
still
ton.
think that's a
Not
lot.
30 events?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Right? I
I
think
didn't have
that's
to
I
a
mean,
work
I'm
them
thinking-
though.
Yeah,
so-
I'm thinking like project management in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's a little bit like herding cats, but
Yeah.
especially with like creatives.
Anytime you
who
work with
aren't
creatives.
very
Yeah.
like organized. My boss says that all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Chad, I get it. I need to be more organized.
Yeah.
But
We have the attention span
Yeah.
of a moth. It's just
Oh,
like, bright light.
yes. No, literally. Yeah. I have not been diagnosed with ADD. I say it's learned ADD from my dad. He's very much this way. So I'm
Yeah.
just kind of everywhere. But it lends itself well when
Yeah.
you have to organize like a week-long multi-event kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have to be organized, but you can also like
Yeah.
have everyone come.
I
So,
think it can be a superpower when you learn how to harness it, or
Yes.
in those moments when it must be harnessed. Right? I think that's a lot of times why really creative ideas come almost at the last minute.
yes.
You're just kind of forced into that.
Bad habits is a big precursor to good ideas of
Yeah.
waiting till the last minute and
Yeah.
procrastinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
It
that's
rewards the bad behavior though. So then you're like, I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
just keep doing it.
you just keep
This is
doing
fine.
it. It's a really
Yeah.
healthy lifestyle. I
Like, we
would
got this.
recommend.
Yeah.
We got this.
Never leads to burnout.
Oh no, never, no. You always love your job.
Yeah.
Always. You're always really glad you spent a lot of money on art school.
Yes. I do think it's interesting though that that there's all these communities. Really, I mean, even if you just think about Utah and the community that Silicon Slopes and the tech side has built.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my team at least is like the design community. Maybe we're all just introverts a little bit. They don't have the monthly get-togethers. They don't have the Slack group like e-com companies do with Commerce Catalyst and Matt Holman, right? Like it's different. So I think that's why they were so drawn to Salt Lake Design Week. But then when I saw that you were doing Design Mob, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this could be it.
Yeah. Can I
Yeah.
talk about Design Mob?
I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm like so
please.
excited about it. What was that?
I said, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ready?
Yes.
Set, go?
Ready, set, go.
Okay. So Design Mob kind of came from me being involved in like all these events and just seeing that there was not a space that was relaxed for designers, I guess. Everything was too buttoned up. Product Hive is too sterile, in my opinion. It's great. It's educational. There's a big following. Like they have a lot of members, and I think that it serves its purpose. But there's nowhere for designers that they can have fun. Even AIGA is like a little wishy-washy. They're not very consistent. They're a big like nationwide thing and they have little chapters. And I was like, I just want to do something for the Salt Lake designers here in the Valley and something where we can get together with like no strings attached basically, where we can, and like next month I want to do a zine event where we just come together and we create zines and we just draw and we just scribble and we just do something creative, right? Because nothing like that really exists. There's no Slack group. There's no place where we can just come together and be creative, like, and not have to do projects and not have to think like, what are the OKRs that we're working towards or whatever. Like, I just
Yeah.
want to strip it back and get to the roots of creativity. So that's like my goal. And I think where I really want to make an effort is in like the corporate creative. I'm going to open it up to all designers, obviously, but
Sure.
I teach at UVU. And I teach the final BFA capstone project. So when students are ready to graduate, they have to take my class and they have to put on like a BFA show and they have to showcase some type of project that they want to and whatever, and then they get sent off into the real world. And throughout art school, throughout design school, you're told like get a job at an agency. That's like the creme de la creme of design jobs, right? Which it is. Like, people at agencies, creative agencies are built different. They are more talented than I will ever be. They are tougher than I will ever be. But
Can I just say, I don't know
Yes.
that they're more talented. I think it's just a different,
oh, yeah.
you get exposure to so many things. I think it forces you
Yes.
to broaden your skill set maybe faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also can just burn people out. And,
Yeah.
and I will say sometimes a creative agency, you have less creative control because it's not your brand. So you're always selling the creative idea to a client. You're always trying to convince them that something is going to be good. And sometimes you have to deliver things that you're like, this isn't what we want, but this is what the client wants. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't, I'm not downplaying agency, but I also wouldn't downplay the other side of it.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do with Design Mob, right? Because it is so downplayed, that other side in design school where it's like, okay, I want to get a job a design job somewhere, right? But there's only 5 jobs in agency life in Utah, and people aren't hiring. And so I'm forced into this corporate world, and it kind of sucks your soul. It's kind of slow. Like, it kind of gets a bad rap. And so I just want to create a space where designers can be creative outside of their 9 to 5, because the 9 to 5 can be a little soul sucking, right? And also not give it as bad of a rap as it has. It is soul sucking, but I think people can thrive. And I just want to give people the ability to thrive, right? And because they are talented, and bring those talents to the 9 to 5. And so then the corporate world in turn hopefully will have a better design thinking and design maturity. And so people will want to go there and feel like they can make an impact, and feel like they can make cool things, and feel like they can make a difference, and not have to compete for the 2 agency jobs in the state. So that's kind of what my hope is with Design Mob. I'm very passionate about design, and so that's why I wanted to call it Mob, kind of that frenzied type idea. And I'm not professional by any means, and so I didn't want it to be like, this is buttoned up and it's pretty. Like, I want it to feel kind of like dirty and grungy and like, I don't know.
And just raw. I mean, it feels like even the design of Design Mob, the juxtaposition between design and mob tells me like, oh, there's real freedom here. There's real like creativity that's allowed and encouraged. I think you did a great job with the logo. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. We've only had one non-fan, so that's okay.
You know what though? There's always going to be.
I know. There's a stranger. He was like, "This is heinous," and I was like, oh, "I don't know you, but okay, thanks for the feedback." Cool. So
your opinion's heinous. Whatever, bro.
So everybody's a critic.
Everybody's
and it is hard as a designer. Like I had to learn this as a non-designer growing up in corporate, relying on designers, that you got to let them have their freedom and their creativity, and you can't tell them what you need done. You need to tell them why you need something done, and then give them the ability to come to you and show their interpretation of it. Yeah. But so many people just don't get that. And they're just like, I want this, this, and this. And you're like, well, why don't you just take the pen and do it then?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I'm hoping, like, I want Design Mob to be fun, but I also want it to be beneficial for people. So I'm hoping to give some workshops where people can feel like they can have those conversations with non-designers and say, like, this is what I need. And so they can feel empowered in their jobs, and really just taking, like, the power back and putting it in the designer's hands, rather than them having to leave it up to their bosses or their corporations and companies and being like, I don't know where I'm going in my career. They don't really have a path. I want them to figure out what they want in their career and be able to just do it and not have to rely on a company or an outside source. So
this might be a weird question. I don't know if it's something that you would want to address inside Design Mob or what your experience is, but I feel like in corporate, oftentimes the designers are a little looked down on, and almost like they're lesser than, or because they're not as smart, because
they don't strategic.
You don't know the numbers. You don't know the why behind what we're doing, right? Like, do you think that is a reality, or do you think it's just that the design team has not done a good enough job yet, kind of showcasing and elevating or communicating that we actually are strategic. We actually can understand numbers. We actually can like get in and go through this process with you. We're not just
pixel pushers.
We're not just an artist. Yeah. Right? Like there's one thing to be an artist. There's another thing to be a commercial designer who's designing something for performance or for an emotion. So I don't even know what I'm asking, but I do feel like I've had times where clients, or when I worked in corporate, team members kind of acted like designers were just like dumb hippies who were,
I mean, we are
drawing and getting stoned on the weekends. Yes. And it's like, well, those things can all be simultaneously true.
But we can also be smart, right? And I think it's a byproduct of the education system, or wherever people get a training for design. If they do it self-taught, they're not going to learn this. If they are in school, they're not going to learn the numbers, right? I think it's a presentation issue. That's what I think, because most of the time when you talk to designers, they are picking up on the numbers. They are understanding kind of the business side of things and the business needs, but they're unable to really communicate that back to their designs in a presentation in front of a stakeholder. So one of the things I want to do is like a 3-part series of workshops on how to help designers present better, and just have people come and like teach them why it's important to present, how they can tie designs back to numbers for the business, and then actually give them like a place to practice presenting. So that's what I think, just because designers are more introverted, right? Mm-hmm. I think most of us are. So I think just teaching them like you can still be introverted, but you need to just be able to present well and be able to verbally communicate, not just visually communicate. And then that will help people not like look down on them so much. I think Domo does a great job of not doing that. I do feel like the designers are involved in the process, but I have worked at past companies where it's like, okay, why am I here? Like, if you don't want me to kind of be involved in the conversation, I have expertise on like the user experience side of things, not just the visual. So I don't know, it's hard. It just depends on the company, right? But if we can do all that we can in presenting well and understanding like how our designs tie back to stuff, then we can help facilitate those conversations, right? And help like advocate for ourselves, right? I'm a big like believer in that. Like you should advocate for yourself and not rely on someone else to come up with their opinion of you or solve your problem. So
I think so too. And that's a hard thing to have the confidence to always do. And then it's a hard thing to do and not feel like you're just gloating or puffing your chest out and like searching for a compliment, right? So it's a delicate dance, I think, to try to walk, and it can be intimidating, especially for people who maybe are introverted or earlier in their career and they don't understand those things.
Well, I think introverts make the best salespeople. Like as I'm listening to this, like, I think if you're introvert, I mean, because the number one sales skill you need, the most important one is listening. Listening, right, and empathy. Yeah. And if you're an introvert, you're probably not going to talk a lot. Yeah. And you're probably going to understand where they're coming from and let them get their stuff out. And then when you go to present, then presenting is just like what I tell salespeople anyway, is like presenting is just repeating back to them everything that they told you. Or like, why do you want this? And then you let them talk. And then how's this going to help you? You let them talk. And then when you present it, remember when you said how this will help you? That's why I put this there. You
literally just hit on everything I want to like teach designers, because it's like you can have like your idea of what you want to do in a project, but if you do not sell yourself well and get the stakeholder on board and tie it back to whatever they said, you're not going to get anything built. Well, whatever you want is not going to get shipped.
And that's empathy. Yeah. Empathy is just like, oh, you wanted this? I put it here. Like, and then your sales, but then there's no demo. And there's no close, right? It's just, I listened to you. Here it is.
We also call it manipulation. So,
whoa, hold on though. The difference. That's the difference between a good salesperson and a bad salesperson. Is what's the difference between persuasion and manipulation?
Yeah, how you feel about it, right?
Well,
persuasion, you're like, this guy's on my team. Manipulation is like, F you, go away.
Well, yeah, persuasion
I'm
is.
not going to do that.
I do like this a lot, though.
Yeah, that's sorry. No, persuasion is getting someone to do something that's good for them. Yeah. And manipulation is getting someone to do something that's good for you. Right.
But if you're a smart designer, the persuasion is good for both of you, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's always the case, right? Like persuasion is like, yes, I want my kids to eat vegetables because it's good for them, but also CPS won't take my kids away for malnourishment, right? Like, but you see what I'm saying, right? Like, of course it's good for me, but it's better for them. Yeah.
But I do think that there's a nuance there that like, it can be just good for you. It can be just good for them. But the top tier is when it works across the board. We just met with our leadership team doing kind of like a 2023 postmortem. And we talked a little bit about bad deals that were signed. We definitely signed some bad deals in 2023. I was like, well, why did we sign those? Well, we wanted the cash. We thought that we didn't understand that it was, in some of the scenarios, it was good for the client, but it was bad for us. And in other scenarios, it was like, well, it was good for us, but it actually wasn't really good for them. And we should have like stepped up and been like, whoa, wait a second. Just because I could get the signature doesn't mean I should. And we're working with our sales team now to incorporate some of those learnings from 2023 to make sure that it's a win-win on both sides.
Well, yeah, and to your point, the difference is manipulation and persuasion sound exactly the same, right? Like you say the same words, you can use the same tone, but it's that intent, right? Like it's where,
and I think people can see through pretty quick, right? When they know you're not here for them.
It's
right?
called I call it commission breath.
Yeah.
You can smell it on somebody. Like,
but even it's interesting that inside organizations, and I don't know if a lot of people early in their career realize that the marketing team has to sell ideas and concepts and tactics to the sales team.
Yeah.
And the product team has to sell ideas to the marketing team. And everyone's, it is like collaboration, but
and
there
sales
is a
sell.
level of
selling
and convincing people that, hey, this thing that we want to do is a win-win across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And
sometimes
I think people with the best ideas, but who are not able to communicate that across the board, they end up not growing in their career. And you see people who are not as good as them, but have that talent grow.
That's me. I'm not a great designer. I'm a fantastic salesperson. I feel like.
I think that's it. It's like that. It's aligning self-interest because you can always rely on somebody to bow down to their self-interest. Like that's one of the laws of power is like always play to the self-interest. Because like your boss definitely isn't gonna like if he's not a designer, he doesn't give a shit what comes across his desk.
No.
But if you align to his self-interest, then he doesn't care what it is. But it benefits him.
You got to stroke the ego a little bit.
Absolutely.
But it's hard for those people who are more talented or.
Like the technician, right? They're so well versed in their craft and they are so good at it, but they don't give themselves the opportunity to like shine because they don't know how to talk and they don't know how to present. I hope that I can I want to have fun with Design Mob, but I also want to give some tangible things and some real value. Because I think obviously the loneliness that comes out of the pandemic and stuff that's something that I want to also tackle with community, but that's just through the fun side of stuff. But then it's okay, once we have a good camaraderie, good feelings all around, then how can we actually get together and learn from each other?
Yeah, and make people. That's cool.
That post-pandemic loneliness is
it just fucks you up.
The pandemic.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
it's such a bitch.
Yeah.
It does feel like a lot of times in life you are one extreme and then you swing way to the other, and then you got to find yourself in the middle. And I think we're trying to find ourselves post-pandemic back into the middle. I mean, it's like my team. I felt I need to be in an office. I suck working from home. I'm not good at self-care. I have a hard time plugging in. Once I plug in, I have a hard time unplugging. So when I started Grounded, I was like, I really want an office. I want a place to go and be. But then as I'm hiring people and I'm adding them to the team, I'm like, am I just like the old white boomer who's like, you need to be in the office, right? And so such a fear of it. I was like, I have an office. I'm investing real money in this. You can work from anywhere. And the team did it for probably 4 or 5 months, and then they came to me collectively, and we're like, "We need to be in the office.
Oh,
that's nice. We want that." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so happy." This is like
just start crying, just tears streaming.
But we found a way to manage it. Like no one's in the office today. No one ever comes in on Fridays except me. I actually really like those days too. For me to have just like a day, but we've got to find a good balance. And I think one thing that people are realizing is that balance doesn't have to come in the form of an office. It could come in the form of a community. It could come in the form of a once a month get together that adds value, that is low key, that is no pressure.
Zero pressure. That's what I want. I don't want, and I also want the zero pressure to come through in the marketing. I don't want to shout about Design Mob all the time. I kind of want it to run like the mob, in the shadows, right? Where it's not forefront and talked about all the time. It's kind of like Fight Club. We don't talk about it. Or Fight Night, whatever it is.
Yeah, Fight Club. No, Fight Club. You were on.
So
that's it.
That's what I want to do. And I'm trying to think of how I can do that. Do we go back to guerrilla tactics with marketing where I actually print out tickets to an event and I give them to heads of design at different companies and then they hand them out to the team and we don't really talk about it, but you can scan a QR code and RSVP. I don't know. I just want to
I think
have
that's
it
really fun.
I think it'd be cool to
fun, right?
take it it's funny how things come full circle, but if you want to call paper tickets old school,
yeah,
go back old school.
Or like flyers and stuff. Like, can I go plaster Qualtrics with flyers of Design Mob stuff? Will I get in trouble? I don't know. But it's
do it.
like,
And then, whatever.
Well, isn't that one of the things Shepard Fairey did to start Obey with lipstick in bars, right? They'd go take stencils into bathrooms, stick it on the mirror, use lipstick, take the stencil off, and then walk out. And it was just like, you'd just see Andre the Giant Obey everywhere.
Exactly.
And it was like, what the hell is this?
And Bobby Hundreds for the Hundreds clothing brand did it too. And so it's like, how can we take that kind of underground lifestyle that resonates a lot with designers? How can we bring that to the corporate world and kind of have this anarchist type vibe where we are really true to ourselves as designers, but we also get paid?
Yeah.
So it's like the hardcore cushy life. So
I almost, and looking back, I don't know, when you name your own business, I think you never really fully love it. You're always like, I could have. I did Grounded because when I was 13, I would draw flightless birds and like an army of flightless birds. I thought it was cool at 13. And so when I was, what am I going to name this agency? I was going through old folders and saw it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do the Grounded company with a flightless bird. But the other option was to call it Blind Tiger. Oh. Do you know what a blind tiger is?
No.
It is, and it's a little bit like the vibe of this. During the Prohibition, blind tigers were what they called prohibition bars. So cops and police didn't know about it, but everyone else was like, "I'll meet you at the Blind Tiger." Like it was this mob.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, it was. Please don't tell in New York City, the like premium hot dog speakeasy bar that I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but you have to call in that day. They answer and they give you a reservation time. You take it or leave it. Like it could be 3 a.m, literally. And then you walk in and it's like a bodega, but you have to go into the phone. They have an old school phone booth. Go into the phone booth, pick up the phone, and they're like, reservation for who? You're like, Jensen at 7. The door opens and it goes back, and it's like this swanky.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's go.
And the name is literally Please Don't Tell.
Yeah. I want to try to like do some stuff like that, but not quite as far.
Cool. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Cool.
I hope it resonates with people. I think it will resonate with designers. Like I really, really do. And I believe in it. So
the moment I saw it, I was like signing up.
Thank you.
So
thank you. 125 members so far. So
you're kidding,
that's
right
good.
on.
Yes, in 3 days. So
wow.
Okay, it's working. Something is working.
Very cool.
Right?
In branding and messaging and in the offer, in this like let's be a community.
I'm still kind of buttoning it up a little bit. I feel like it's a little scattered still, but I think it comes across.
I think it always. I think as the owner of an idea like that, you always feel like,
you refine.
I've got something else. I've got something else. I'm gonna tweak this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let that hold you back.
No.
Keep going.
Oh, I'm not.
125 in 3 days.
That's great. Yeah, congratulations. That's
whoa.
In just Utah, I think most of them are just Utah. I don't know. Like I'm probably going to start up my podcast again too, which isn't really my podcast. I'm just the co-host on it, but we just talk about design stuff.
Absolutely.
The guy that I like co-host it with, he was like, "Oh, like that's cute." And I was like, "No, but that's like 125 people in Utah. Like that's like good." I don't know. So
that's a great number.
It's a good number.
What a dick.
Yeah,
no,
I was like
he's not
125 people.
He's not a dick.
It's funny because like you think 125 people and you might think like, well, I don't know if that's a lot, but have you ever seen 125 people in a room at one time?
At an event? That's exactly what I think
You're
about.
Like, dude, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly what I like put it back to because it's like on the digital space, it's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's like that's not the game I want to play. I don't want to play the digital game. You have to, I think. It's a byproduct of like wanting to grow something, but that's not my focus. My focus is the community, and if I have numbers there, then I'm happy. So,
yeah. That's so good.
I'm so excited about it. Yeah. How much time do we
have? My alarm's going to go off in 9
minutes.
Okay.
Which would give you like 5 minutes to go in and get settled.
Thank you. They know I'm doing this, so I told them I might be late.
Great.
So it's okay.
And when the alarm rings, we're done.
No more talking.
On this idea though of community and like how do you keep it close knit? It's a massive example, but I really love it in Patagonia.
Oh.
So Patagonia has like their VIP group. It's hard to get access to. Patagonia doesn't run a lot of sales. Once a year, Patagonia will run a massive sale.
Okay.
They send it to the VIP group. You can't buy your way in. It's like I got it. I got in at one point in time. I'm not anymore. When I was leading marketing at Expert Voice, like a outdoor retailer, kind of like we played in that community. When they would send you the like, hey, the sale is here. It's for the next 72 hours. You have 2 unique codes that you can share with 2 people. Share them wisely.
Yep.
And I remember, like, I would get it, and it was a social power almost in some sense. I'd go to my dad and I'd be like, Dad, I've got a code. If you're going to use it, are you going to use it? Because if you're not, I've got other people who want it.
Yep.
But like,
you have to use it.
It was coveted in some way.
Yeah.
And like,
So
not that you need to do this with Design Mob, but maybe there's a point where you're like,
I have a plan. We'll talk about it.
I'm going to shut up then.
But it's like
it's
kind of
okay.
like the
I
little
love it. I
more
love it.
intense than the REI garage sale thing.
Yeah, it just,
Because REI would do something like that too, like member only garage sale.
but this is like the only way you can get in is if
exactly.
you know that person. And so
Right.
you really, and if you know 2 friends and they know 2 friends,
Yep.
and then they know 2 friends, then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
We,
Yes.
the Illuminati. Just kidding.
That's right.
So with Design Mob, I want it to be like open doors. Anyone can kind of be a mob member, but we have a group text that's called Mob Mentality. And so that is where we kind of have that mob mentality where it's very, very coveted, like a VIP group, and there's only 2 codes or whatever. And so when you know that there's a spot opening up, then you kind of frenzy and try to get in as quick as you can. But there will be very like limited numbers, very like, I don't know, maybe
It's
once a month I'll open it up.
curated.
Yes, very curated. You have.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's going to be paid for. Like I think that's going to be like where I make the revenue because I don't want to burn out as like a community
No.
leader.
Yeah.
And so it's
No.
like the VIP thing. I really want to make like the very like top tier. This is what you want to aspire to join, but you can also just be a part of the
Yeah.
general mob.
it's like, yeah, I
was-
think that's cool.
I was in a group like that where with
excited.
salespeople where the rule was, I think we paid, but the rule was to stay in, you had to post once a day and then reply to somebody, like actually give valuable feedback like 2 or 3 times a day. And they had moderators that would track it. And the second that you weren't engaging and like being valuable, you were out.
Wow.
Yeah, we were.
But it was
run
like-
it like the mob. We really
Yeah.
are. Like,
yeah.
like-
But it was like intense. But
Yeah,
then
we're
but
going
then-
to take you out back.
Yeah, but then you were like contributing to the community, giving valuable feedback consistently.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like a dead
Yep.
chat or a dead thing. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I stayed for like, 6 to 8 months or something like that.
Yeah.
It was pretty
That's cool.
But
And then when you're out and someone new comes in, that's okay.
Yeah.
yeah, and then you just
Like you said, it's still kind of no pressure, but it is coveted.
yeah. But if you want
Yeah.
to be here, then
you're
you
a
gotta-
mob boss at that point.
Yeah.
I'm the godmother of design.
Let's go. Let's go.
I did not give myself that nickname. My
Okay,
friend said
I
it
don't know
when
why that made me
You
think of it. Have you seen the Netflix show about Mother God and Father
Yes. Yes.
No, I
Holy-
I
haven't.
haven't
What is
seen
that?
it, but I've listened to a podcast about that cult. It's
God? Holy
insane. It's
dude.
insane. We also had a vote at my family Christmas that if anyone in the family were to lead a cult, it would be me. So
Oh, damn. Well,
I'm doing that on like a smaller scale, on
Yeah.
like a friendlier, more healthy scale.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you
It's the design cult.
yeah, you definitely have in a cult. You have more fun as a follower, but you make more money as a leader. So
Exactly.
is that okay? Office quote. It was Creed. But he's like, I've been a part of many cults in my life. He's like, you have more fun as a follower. You make more money as a leader.
Creed.
Dude, so the Mother God thing,
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
It's insane.
I haven't. I
it's
don't know.
insane. I mean, they just smoked weed and did drugs and like, what's the thing that turns you blue? Collidum.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh shit.
She literally starts turning blue. Her whole body starts shutting down. But
Wow.
they're
She's
convinced.
dead, right?
She's dead.
Yeah.
But they're convinced that she interacts with Robin Williams. And that Robin Williams is like the head of
good
like
Lord.
the intergalactic like thing.
I
There's
mean,
all
I'd
these
join
dead
that.
people and Donald Trump who's like it's so weird.
Wow.
But then-
let's go.
So they're like, Robin Williams is going to come take Mother God and bring her body to this spaceship thing,
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, it's always a spaceship.
I know.
It's
God
always
damn
a
it, I know.
spaceship.
So she
Get
dies.
away.
So she
But they're
dies.
still members.
They're still,
It's still thriving.
okay, but she dies, and they're like, well, Robin Williams hasn't come to get her yet. She must not totally be dead yet. They just traveled around with her. The father god, her like, partner, was sleeping in the bed with her for like 3 weeks while she was dead.
Gross. I did not know that detail of it.
It's
that's
so
nasty.
So I gotta watch that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay, we should end on this side note.
Yes.
Have you heard that they're saying now that they found out that hamsters hibernate?
Oh yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
people just keep throwing them away.
People are throwing away.
This
live
my
gosh,
live
hamster.
hamsters.
Oh, wow.
So sad.
I had the biggest dad fail of my whole life.
Did you do that?
Worse, dude.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
We had a hamster. Thought it died.
Okay.
Probably not. So it's in the winter.
oh shit.
Have I told you this story?
No, but I know where it's
down
gone,
the
dude.
toilet?
No, you
You
don't. You
buried
have
it.
no idea. You
Oh.
have no
Did you
idea where this is
cremate
going.
it?
Okay.
Did you cremate a live hamster?
It's worse than all of that.
Oh, God.
No.
So my kids are like,
Thinking
we
like
want
you
to bury it.
skinned
And I'm
it.
like, it's ice outside. Let's put it in a box.
Comes up, runs out.
You guys can write notes to it. We'll then like seal the box shut. So we made a box. We put the hamster in it with
Do
all
a
these notes.
Viking funeral.
We did like
on the water.
duct tape to seal this sucker all the way shut because I was like, I don't
He's
want to
not
smell it.
getting out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, in the spring, we will bury it. And I put it in our garage.
Oh, damn it.
Did you out?
Spring comes around, summer comes around, and I pull into my garage, and a bunch of kids in the neighborhood come up to me and they're like, hey, Nick, we're doing bigger, better. We've got a box of Pop-Tarts. Do you have anything bigger than this? Do you know the game Bigger, Better?
Yes.
And I'm standing in my garage and I'm like, yeah. And I
Give him
grab
a dead hamster
Oh.
box. You're messed up.
and
Oh
I
my gosh.
don't know what I'm doing. And I
Oh my
tell them,
gosh.
like, you got to bury it. It's a dead hamster. But like, hey, it's bigger.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
2 days later, my son comes to me and he was like, hey, Dad, so we're going to bury Poppy? That was the hamster's name. And I was like, yeah, but already did. And he's like, really? Where? And I'm like,
He knows, bro.
Yeah,
he knows.
he
He
in the
knows.
you
back
out.
by our dead cat. He's like,
no.
you sure about that, Dad? And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
3 times he asked me, and every time I'm like, yeah. Another 2 days come by, and he pulls me aside, and he's like, Dad, I'm really disappointed. I don't know why you'd lie to me. I know
That
that
feels
you.
shitty when your kid is disappointed in you.
I know you gave the hamster to Riker, and I was like,
He knew.
I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm so sorry.
No.
What?
No.
Did they tell you? He was like, yeah, Dad, they went home and opened it up.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
So then I got a phone call from the parents.
Oh no. That's so bad. That's so bad. That's so bad. Like, why are you giving my kid
So
dead
I
animals?
swore
You were
to
gonna be
my
like
son at that point, I will never lie to you again.
neighborhood psychopath.
Yeah, right. You gave.
Oh my
they were trying to play an
gosh.
innocent game.
Oh,
Bigger, better.
what a bad
Here's
dad
And you gave
moment.
him-
I'm like,
you gave him a hamster that had claw
Your
marks on
kid
the
knew
inside
you
of
were
the
lying. Oh no.
they open it up and
It's
there's
trying to
hamster poop and claw marks because it woke up from the hibernation.
You should put a bell like they
Do you-
used
why
to
don't
with
the-
the
why
grain.
don't-
You should.
They should
Why
put a
doesn't
bell.
the?
I'm
Why,
in here.
yeah. Why doesn't the freaking pet store tell you like, hey, by the way?
Because it's 13-year-olds running the
Oh
pet
yeah,
store.
Yeah.
that's fair. Like, hey,
And they're like, hey, the faster the hamster dies, the faster you're coming back.
Exactly.
right.
I had
Oh,
3
there's
guinea
no
pigs.
note or anything.
Here's my alarm I wake up to every morning.
Oh.
all right.
Man eater.
Have you seen
I love
No
Daryl
Hard
Hall and John
Feelings?
Oates.
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
Last night.
You saw it. You saw it.
And he's like, I'm so afraid of this song because I think it's a monster.
Yeah.
I only made it through like half of the show and then I fell asleep. But it was
Oh,
funny.
I loved it. Yeah.
It was
I bet
late. It was like
good.
1 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, isn't that the song? See, here's how childish I am. But isn't that the song from Despicable Me 3
Probably.
with Trey Parker?
I don't know.
Did you know that?
This is Hall and Oates, dude. This is a classic.
Well, I know it's a class. Yes,
Come
I know.
on.
But when I heard that, I thought of Despicable Me 3 and the villain. He sings that.
Oh, good times.
Great. That's a great
Yeah.
movie.
Jordan, I'm glad that
Amen.
you were here. Thank you.
you.
I hope
Thanks for
that
letting me ramble.
our
Yeah.
podcast about
Super
nothing was
awesome.
worth it.
Yeah. No, so
No.
worth it. Thank you.
I'm genuinely really excited about Design Mob.
I think it's going to be good.
If you decide to open up a paid version and I can like squeeze my way in, I'll be your first paying customer.
Thank you. I'm thinking
I'd be
like
honored.
$10 a month. Nothing crazy.
I'd be in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are you doing text or Slack or what are you thinking?
Text for Mob Mentality. I am not sure about the greater community yet.
Discord.
Got it.
Discord probably. So
So old, I don't get Discord.
I know.
It's
That's where I'm
it's
like, I don't know if we
Slack.
should do Slack or Discord. That's the
No, but Discord's Slack, but it's
I need to
free.
maybe talk to you guys about it,
Slack
'cause I
is
don't
free
know what to
too,
do.
dude.
Not
Well,
for me.
No, not if you. I mean, like eventually they make you start paying, or like
Yeah.
if you want certain features, they make you pay.
Yeah,
I don't think it's free.
it is.
It
If you
is-
wanna
no,
keep
there's a free
messages
version.
older than 90 days,
And if you
need
want to do like
pay.
certain
Oh, yeah.
voice
And if you hit a
memos,
certain
and,
number of people, I think.
And if you want to
pay.
do
Yeah.
Slack Connect, obviously.
and if you want to do
but
Slack Connect, and if you want to, I
it
think
does get expensive.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we didn't get into
Salesforce.
like the whole free community versus paid for community thing. We'll have to talk again. But
Okay.
all right,
Round
yeah.
2.
Yeah, amen.
Okay.
we
We know
can
you got
touch
a
back
meeting.
in 6
Yeah.
months and see how it's going.
It'll be
We'll run it back.
10,000
If
members.
I've been
at that
murdered,
point.
there's a new
Yeah.
head honcho. We don't know.
No one can find you.
Where'd she go? We don't know.
And the new members have to sign a
They're just
sworn
bodies
affidavit.
just like sunken in the Great Salt Lake.
part of the new membership is a sworn affidavit that they've seen you in real life.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love that if I could just go be in the shadows and not have to talk online. It's fine.
Amen. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.